Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti channels. Here are the headlines of our edition tonight. Our main titles are: the President of the Republic takes part in the third edition citizen meeting. Many other personality was there. The President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, take part at the third meeting at the People Palace this morning. Many officials and members of the government participated this morning that meeting. Many other officials and many members of the RPP takes part at that meeting, begin with the song and many others activities. The President of the Republic was accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid. On his arrival, he was welcomed by the Prime Minister and the party Vice President, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, surrounded by several members of the Executive Bureau under the rhythm of folk dance performed by the most emblematic troops of the country. As soon as they entered the auditorium, the congressmen and other distinguished guests of the ceremony stood as one man until the President of the Republic and the Prime Minister, as well as the First Lady, returned to their seats. The second day, rich in music and color, was welcome. This evening took place in the auditorium of the People's Palace in the presence of the First Lady and the President of the UNFD, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, the Prime Minister and the Vice President of the RPP, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Minister of Finance and Secretary General of the party, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Dawali, the Executive Board leaders and other political parties of the presidential movement, as well as the plethora of RPP leaders, militants and supporters. The main objective of this meeting was to exchange views with the Djiboutian population and provide feedback on the implementation of the government's policy and that of the party. This has enabled activities and officials to better understand the legitimate aspiration of citizens and to make the necessary adjustments and corrections to the political actions. This day was dedicated to activists to instill an ideal and a state of mind embodied in useful and responsible commitment in the services of the general interest. Founded on 4th March 1977 in Dikhil, in the south of the country, the RPP was born from the merger of the several political parties whose leaders were able to resolve their difference in order to work together for national unity. The president, Mr. Ismail Omar Gil, expressed very delighted and full pride of his presence at this event and participating in an atmosphere of favor and excitement for all activities and all citizens. He added that these moments are unforgettable because they strengthen each of us in our sense of belonging to a movement, but also beyond that to a people and a nations. These moments are precious because they comfort us with a sense of pride in belonging to this great party that is the popular really for progress. Continuing his speech, the president sincerely thanks all the activities and leaders who contribute to the holding and success of this event. For the third consecutive year, our movement through these activities and leaders has just toured the entire country, added the President Gele. Our movement initiated this meeting in a spirit of civic rather than partisan, in a spirit of collective and general interest. The third edition of the citizen meeting is a year placed under the theme of Djibouti first and foremost. This theme, which was also our slogan during the 2016 elections, is very revealing of our party's determination never to close itself off in a partisan ideology or philosophy. More than a simple ritual of meeting and talks of activities, this exercise reflects the permanent will of our movement to be open to a dialogue with other actors. Because with all these actors, whether they are from civil society, political party, we have a common denominator, our citizenship. This citizenship that invited us all to want the best for our country, which is our common destiny. This is why this type of consultation constitute a privileged reference framework for emulations, and the sharing of value of our party also embodies. Djibouti, above all, is party of the values they are at the origin of our republic. These values, which are also the pillar and the paradigms that organize the good governance of our republic, both in the past and also in the present and in the future. These realizations of common deal to which we all aspire require us to be collectively, as added the President of the Republic in the second part of his speech. He said that aware of our citizenship to mobilize and in the services of the national interest. This is why we must never lose sight of our nation's motto of unity, equality, and peace. This is why we must always seek to protect and consolidate more, however we are and however we are. It's because we have a love for our homeland and core in the heart and body that we commit ourselves with dedication and sacrifice to preserving our national unity in diversity, but also in respect for differences of opinion or belonging, because unity is not uniformity, nor it's the only or monolithic truth. A difference too is not adversity, nor its negations of the others. All those who have a narrow positions of difference, and fortunately there are not many of them, must not return us away from our common destiny, that of a republic based on the values of unity, equality, and peace. In this great republic project that concerns us all, our activity must transform themselves whenever necessary. A responsible citizen concerned first and foremost about Djibouti and its future, because these are the best way to contribute to the collective interest. Our movement, strong in its hope and achievement, has always served on an incubator for the government in its policies as well as its social and economic reforms. More than that ever, we must play this role of incubator in the major future reforms, whatever in the field of communication or decentralizations in all the sectors that are crucial to our development. We must continue to provide the government with an idea and an initiative so that Djibouti above all is not just a slogan. I'm proud of the work accomplished through meetings over the past few days and pledge as much as possible to present the different activities made by the different part of the party politics party. And I want to thank above all the participants for to come and participate in this great event where many young came from very far to participate this event. This event.
Ne sont pas nombreux, ne doivent pas nous détourner de notre destin commun, celui d'une république fondée sur les valeurs que j'ai mentionnées, l'unité, l'égalité et la paix. Dans ce grand chantier républicain qui nous concerne tous, nos militants doivent se métamorphoser chaque fois qu'il le faut en citoyens responsables, soucieux avant tout de Djibouti et de son devenir, car c'est la meilleure façon de contribuer à l'intérêt collectif. Notre mouvement, fort de son histoire et de ses acquis, a toujours servi d'incubateur au gouvernement, aussi bien dans sa politique que dans ses réformes sociales ou économiques. Nous devons plus que jamais jouer ce rôle d'incubateur dans les grandes réformes à venir, que cela soit dans le domaine de la communication ou de la décentralisation ou d'autres secteurs névralgiques pour notre développement. Nous devons continuer à approvisionner le gouvernement en idées et en initiatives pour que Djibouti avant tout ne soit pas un simple slogan. Je suis fier, mes chers camarades, du travail accompli dans le cadre des rencontres de ces derniers jours et je m'engage en tant que président à considérer vos réflexions et vos propositions. Mon souhait serait de voir la réalisation de telles initiatives de façon plus régulière, pourquoi pas de les décentraliser. Mon souhait serait également de voir que nos actions quotidiennes soient toujours adossées à notre volonté citoyenne d'apporter notre contribution individuelle à l'effort collectif pour l'édification d'un idéal commun.
And after that, many questions were asked to the president and other official presence in participated at that event. Many questions were about the entrepreneurship, where many youth participated at that events. Emphasize their satisfactions about many performance did in the entrepreneurship, but also to create a different aspect of the commitment they did. Many other personality who did wrong with the difference.
kasoo sokaysa 6 sano shirkadii baan waday maqaaxida waxaan jeclahay inaan ila ogaataan inay ahayn shaqo la'aan ay geenin bacdama 2 bilood anoo joogaan furtay ay iga ahayd in aan anigu gamcahayga wax kula soo bixi karo imika inaan joogo shirkaddii saddexaad sidaa bay wiilo group u noqotay macal iskoolka wixii iga dhigay iyo gebi marka la isku gooyo 12 qof ay shaqeeyaan aan aad uga qurux badanahay oo ka noolahay aan aqal qurux badan ka dhistay aan gaari ka wato
anneexyada hadday tahay anneexyadeenu imika waxaan qabanaa maxaydan ciyaalkii jeenkayagii waan sensibilisaynay aqoonsimaa bay sameeyaan maanta karteyga dhexdiisa handikaabka waan ordinateerku noogu jiraa intaan handikaaban haysano inta shaqaynaysa intaan shaqaynayn intaan dhariga maxay ahaydana saaran intaasoo dhan ordinateerku noogu jiraa jeenkii xaafadda ayaa soo xulay oo anneexyada hala siiyo pouvoir oo dee maxay ahayd dadka haddii laga qaadayo dhulka waa laga qaadaa 10,000 jeen aad sheegtay waa la shaqo geyn aad tiri way shaqo tageen saasay suuq waan garanaynaa kii uu ilaahay u qoray baa galay
sharikad waxaan la xidhanahay sharikad Maraykan ah yaan la xidhanahay sharikadda Maraykanka oo headquarterkeegu New York weey dhowr xafiis waan soo maray laano aanu doosiyagayga lama cabsoon dhowr xafiis dhowr wasaaradood waan soo maray dhowrkii wasaaradood aan soo maray.
And then the President of the Republic answered to all these questions asked to him. He said that the most thing he respects and love is those who create their job and open a restaurant. He said that others are so surprised from those youth who create a little job. And then the president said, paid tribute to those efforts made by these young who create more than to create more jobs. He said that he was really happy to begin with that to those who began with that initiative. He also added during that answer give to those people his admire for those most thing is when a student when he finishes school and create a business because he said that kind of initiative is new and it's most important to develop the country and it's the role of citizen because the government's role is to facilitate the different services to the population and provide them a better service but the citizen is the job of the citizen and his role is to invest in different aspects and take the initiative. The President of the Republic he expressed his satisfaction about the job created by those young entrepreneurs who take the initiative to change their lives, but also, most important, others' life. He added that if a person can change just one person's life and give a job just for one person, that means a lot of hope because that will change other family life significantly. In about the Hasna Hamadu, he said, I think she followed the traditional family about the love of the nation and the patriotism and that how she was raised to love the country and I want to thank her and support her to keep going on that way. And finally, he said the president, the important thing is to create a job and find solutions about questions how to create a job and decrease the jobless and we welcome all the initiative from the youth who want to create job in the country. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamid, visited the RTD yesterday responding to an initiative to appear on a TV show in the Afar. In an interview with the studios, the President of the Assembly returned to the forthcoming reform of the communication. He added the reforms and the work provided by the parliaments in recent years. The prefect of Ali Sabih region, Mr. Musa Adan Migan, received yesterday, Thursday afternoon in his office, the prefect of Ali Sabih region and delegation led by Mrs. Ursula Mueller, Assistant Secretary General of Humanitarian Affairs at the United Nations. This delegation was accompanied of Mrs. Mueller, Mrs. Barbara Menzi, Resident Coordinator of the United Nations, as well as other coordinator of NGOs present in our country, such as UNHCR, WFP, UNARS, and etc. After a brief meeting to exchange ideas on the project report by the delegation accompanied by the prefect went to Ali Adde, sub-prefect, to visit the living condition of the refugees in order to straighten them and give the different support. The president of the regional, Mr. Umar Hussein Umar, and the local elected official, his return in Balho, where he was welcomed by the sub-prefect Abdullah Kamil, as well as others, the route of traditional chief army officers and other elected. On continental news, where in Somalia, specifically the United Nations where the United Nations established in Mogadishu in December, but was operated from Nairobi. In a statement, current Ambassador Donald Yamamoto highlighted a new step towards the return of relation between Somalia and United States. Somali President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, who was in New York at the UN General Assembly at the end of September, took the opportunity to inaugurate the Somali diplomatic mission in Djibouti. Here we arrived, ladies and gentlemen, the end of the news. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.